Turn Up 2016, officially open. Thank you very much.
Through these turn-up events, we are trying to foster and nurture the growing sense of community within the Sunshine Coast music industry.
I set up my first business when I was 19 years old, and it was 1992. This is pre-internet, pre-mobile phones. I set up a booking agency with a girlfriend, and off we went and started booking our friends that were bands. Collaboration, true collaboration, is where you start with nothing with another person. So whether you're a songwriter and you're sitting in a room with another songwriter and you just start working together. Collaboration's not where you work and you get your EP or your record ready and then you go and start to want to work with other people.
Let's talk about looking sideways.
That's my current favourite thing, so we have to talk about that. We can actually learn a lot from looking sideways. And not always just thinking about this really linear journey that we often quite do in music. You write the song, you make the record, you do the tour, you go to the next one. And that's when I started going to writers' festivals and realised that they're lovely and there's really cheap production because there's not a lot of PA involved and no gear and pretty easy to tour a couple of speakers. But I thought I could do that in a cool way. By Looking Sideways was created, I just went, wow, there's a massive gap in the market right there and I'm going to go for it. Values, what I mean is what do you stand for? And even in my little coaching sessions with the baby bands and stuff, if they can't answer that and their motivation is, you know, the old, I just want to be famous or I want lots of YouTube people to see me or whatever, it's like, no, that's not what you stand for. My three things always come back to integrity, respect and hard work. So, you know, your integrity is sometimes all you've got. You know, things can come and go, people can rip you off, you can be the hottest thing 1 minute and shit the next. Always remember the hands you shake on the way up are the same hands you'll shake on the way down.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for sharing with us tonight, Leanne. Please thank Leanne D'Souza.
Thank you, Tara, and thank you.
It's no secret that the source of all money generated by the music industry is the song. Our first industry panel today is focused on producing, marketing and making your song famous.
A great song is a great song and it's going to find its way to the public no matter what. No matter what we do, we can't make radio play a song. A great sync can absolutely break an artist in this country.
But just having a little online promotional thing on Facebook and lowering and just putting a minimum fee can attract such a huge fan base, and then something I really love, I will definitely walk into one of my big clients like Foxtel and before you know it they'll use it on a promo or something and then that will help the label and next minute you'll see it's taken to radio where it wasn't going to be a single. That happens a lot with sync.
I think it's got a lot to do also, isn't it, with the radio stations themselves and the actual musical directors of the radio stations who, if it's not to their quality or their idea from one of theirs, they just don't play it. Mr. Kingsmill is very particular about certain things and certain, like, you know, whatever's happening South by Southwest, if they get in first, their radio station's cooler than Nova or whatever. So I think there's a lot of still politics involved.
You've got to have that balance, especially if you want to be able to sustain a career for, you know how to make money out of it, but also not sacrifice any of your artistic integrity, which is definitely a struggle sometimes. I mean, a good example is right now we're working on album 2, and we had Channel 7 contact us about this particular song, which we were still recording at the time, and they wanted to use it for the theme song of this television show, but they wanted us to change lyrics and they wanted us to do weird things in it, and it's like, okay, well, what do we really want?
Sounds like it's all about the cash anyway, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Well, yeah. Well,
Isn't syncs about getting cash? Isn't that what syncs are about?
Well, the thing about cash is that it keeps you going.
Exactly. It gives you cash to do what you want to do.
Yeah. I guess, being authentic is absolutely the key.
A bunch of friends of mine, really close friends, called Hermitude. First, if you listen to their first record, and you listen to the record that blew them up, it's worlds apart. I mean, it's still instrumental kind of bass music, but they used to be like hip-hop dudes with heaps of scratching, and we used to play together heaps, and then this kind of new sound, or today's sound, came in, and they just cranked it, and now they're like killing. So I'm not sure, like, that's probably keeping authentic, like, but changing times might be some kind of sustainability as well, like, which is, I'm not sure if that is authentic, is it?
I think it's about being flexible. I think it's
Being flexible.
still, thank you.
The biggest bands touring today, Fleetwood Mac, Rolling Stones, the biggest acts are all from the 60s and 70s. And now on the TV shows, it's all about solo artists. So, or a group of 3 girls or guys in a boy band. And what would the Rolling Stones be without, Keith Richards on guitar? What would Fleetwood Mac be without Mick Fleetwood on drums? The personalities have gone from our industry.
But I understood the charts, and I don't think a lot of you out there really do understand the charts. And there's got to be a trigger in any industry that motivates growth and motivates the future. And it was, I had to find my point of difference. And this is very relevant to everybody out there. You have to find your point of difference. You can't copy everybody else, and that previous panel talked about that. You've got to be uniquely different. We get too caught up in all the bullshit and the crap of what we should be doing and all the marketing hype. You've instinctively got a feel for your music and what you're going to do or you haven't.
It is about live. You'll notice that all the acts that are successful know how to perform live. I mean, really have an incredible show. Not just with one song. You've got to be able to build a catalogue, and you've got to be able to perform for an hour and a half and entertain. And I tell you, if you're packing out a club in Bendigo or in Maroochydore, and there's 200 people there every week cramming in to see your act, you don't need to contact the record labels. They'll find you.
It's just about getting out there and, to steal Barry's line, no is negotiable. If I don't return your email, hassle me again. I love that. It shows passion.
Aaron mentioned mentor. Find yourself a mentor, because it's really, really difficult to understand the music industry from a musician's perspective when you're young and you're really trying to be creative. Now, this is where you need some help and understanding and mentoring. Where do you want to go with your music? It just can't be one album. It just can't be an indulgent of one song or an album and see where it goes. You do need a plan, and you need management to help you to understand where it needs to go. Because 90% of people give up when they're 10% from achieving their goals, and the word that stops them is no.
She was writing her own songs, and they weren't that good. Because every songwriter thinks their songs are the best, but they're not. So the first thing they had to do was find her a hit song. And it was, I kissed a girl and I liked to. It was Katy Perry. They had to find her they found her the hit that would break her career. And I think Aaron's right, there is a huge opportunity, and it'll always be about the song. There are people like Chubby Checker who wrote The Twist 50 years ago, tours it, and makes millions a year off one song. If you get that one song, it will trigger everything.
It's the team behind the artist and the team behind me. So you can't do this on your own. No gig is possible on your own, no event is possible on your own. So the team that you have around you, to me, that's the success.
Everybody tells me that Facebook is the most important thing right now. I'm not too sure myself, I can't work it out. I still believe in word of mouth, I still believe in the local community, and relying on the band and their contacts, as well as the contacts that you've made within the industry. There's a level of spend that you need to do. I think expecting nothing from nothing is not going to work these days. So I think you've got to be willing to put something in, even if you're not going to get anything out of it. And I think even if you don't get anything out of it, what you can get out of that is experience, and not everything's going to work out the way you want it to work, but that's where we make mistakes, so we can learn from our mistakes. And that's the beauty of doing multiple shows or multiple events, that you've got an opportunity to redeem yourself to the next event.
We put all the posters of the shows on our front windows. And probably the almost dead certain universal indicator is if those posters get stolen, it's going to be a good show. Like we had something not so long ago called the Festival of the Goat, and this guy came to me and said, I want a goat festival, I want to put goats everywhere, real goats, and I want goat art, goat video games, goat movies, and I've got goat bands, I want all the goat bands in Australia to go. I said, what's a goat band? It's a band with goat in its name. I said, that's the most insane way to curate a lineup ever. But there was just something about this lunatic that I wasn't sure whether it was genius or madness. And, you know, a day out, we'd had 12 tickets sold. You said 12 there, I'm thinking, I know that show. And then on the day, they flooded in. And everybody wanted to go and pat the goats, and everybody wanted to play the goat simulator on the cinema screen. That made no sense, that show, but what did make sense was...
I reckon Facebook is a huge thing, like Facebook events. You know, you can put like sponsored posts on Facebook and snake your way into other people's news feeds. Trying to reach out to people that have a bit of a cultural capital.
If you're in a town like Brisbane, there's probably 20 venues that are going to have a band on or an event on the night that you're playing. It doesn't matter, it's not your event. You just concentrate on your event, you concentrate on your fan base, you concentrate on your support and the people that are supporting you, and you'll have a successful event.
A lot of people, you've got to really work hard on your event. You never give up, don't drop your bundle. But a lot of people think, oh look, this is flopping, what we'll do is just throw more stuff at it. And I have to sort of say to people, no, don't do that. Work with what you've got, have faith in what you've got.
You know, not everybody has to play to a large audience. You know, there's venues that are small and intimate that might suit you. And a sellout's a sellout. A sellout of 50, that's a sellout. A sellout of 500, that's a sellout as well.
Paul, thanks very much.
Hey, this is Adam from scenestr TV, and what I'm going to do right now is head around, find a few of the panellists and a few of the speakers that have been here so that they can share some of the insights that have come out on the night.
I just think collaborating, actually, you learn so much, and true collaboration is when artists start with nothing and build something together. And so that could be, you know, a video director or a fashion designer and an artist, you know.
Is there one particular key takeaway someone said that you thought, gee, that really makes sense to me?
Yeah, I think there was so much to cover, but I think George Shepard's discussion about the wanting to make sure that you stay true to yourself as an artist. So
yeah, well, look, I think you need to involve as many people as possible. Everyone needs to take some kind of ownership or feel a part or feel a piece of something. I mean, what we're doing is really a cultural event, and people want to have some kind of attachment to it. So the more people that you can attach to your event, the more success you're going to get. Well, I don't look at any one. Don't look at just one event. Look at your 10-year, your 20-year business plan, and then work back from that.
Tell us a little bit about your involvement with it and why you keep coming back every year.
I really believe in events like this, Adam. It's great for the region. Somebody with my background, it's the type of thing that I enjoy doing and should be doing. It's in its third year. I reckon everybody will be talking about it when it's in its 10th year. And
today, the event's very, very nurturing to the industry. It's kind. It's asking burgeoning artists and managers and bookers around the Sunshine Coast to think about what they're doing, and they're bringing in some really interesting people. There have been some great panellists today that have been offered some great advice.
One last takeaway, mate. I've asked everyone for a nugget of wisdom, if you like, tonight.
I think a lot of the speakers said this: relationships. Build them and keep building them, and you've got to keep connecting with those same people. The other big thing was songwriting. If you can't write that well, find someone else that can maybe write better. That a lot of hits aren't written by the people who actually perform them.
All right, Dave, thanks very much for your time.
Thanks, Beanie.
Let's see you again next year, eh?
Good talking to you, mate. See you guys next year.
I want to be like the Beastie Boys. Have a half skate ramp in your studio and bob stuff everywhere and keyboards. That's how I first imagined it.
And then in the 80s, when it flipped from LP to CD, there's no industry in the world that had two shots at selling the same product to the same customer.
There's this magazine in Brisbane that's part of one of the partners that helps promote it reasonably well, called scenestr. I'm not sure if you've heard of them.
Yeah. Howard's been a legend.
Yeah, he's been a legend. He's done a great job for us.